When the truck was parked, the old SM420 granny low 4-speed transmission was working well, but coupled with 373 rear-end gears, the transmission left a lot to be desired at highway speeds. In granny low, you could pull a mountain. These photos show the old transmission and its removal from the truck. The bell housing was a bit crusty and needed a good cleaning. I also found a broken bolt in the housing that needed removal. After some work, the bell housing cleaned up nicely. The 12-bolt differential was reused. The refresh of the differential was documented in video 11 of this series. The pinion seal was replaced, and the rear yoke was cleaned and painted. The flywheel was resurfaced, and a new starter ring gear was pressed on. I had ordered a new clutch cover plate, but the one I received did not cover the entire area as desired. I salvaged a piece from the old cover and welded it to the new one to fit my needs. New bell housing to frame mounts were installed. The new McLeod 11-inch clutch was test fitted. Before final installation, several checks were made. All bolt holes were cleaned to allow proper torque readings. The alignment of the clutch with the Tremec transmission is very critical. Many measurements were made to identify the crankshaft center line in relation to the bell housing. My crankshaft was 16/1000ths of an inch from being perfectly centered. I ordered offset dowels to align the bell housing, and thus the transmission. The dowels had a 7/1000ths offset. After proper positioning of the dowels, the alignment was perfect. The flywheel was installed with high-strength fasteners and torqued to spec. The clutch plate and disc were then attached to the flywheel. An alignment shaft was used to achieve proper disc alignment with the plate. The new Tremec TKX close ratio transmission was received. The transmission is very compact, but strong enough to handle 600 horsepower. It also has provisions for 3 shifter locations. Nice. Because of the significant wear on the manual clutch mechanism on the truck and my desire for a softer pedal, I installed a hydraulic clutch bearing assembly. This photo shows the assembly being test fitted on the transmission. The hydraulic clutch master cylinder was mounted to the firewall. When the bell was test fitted in the truck, I found that the hydraulic line furnished with the master cylinder did not reach the bearing assembly. The transmission was bolted to the bell housing. A 1/4 inch aluminum spacer plate was mounted between the transmission and the bell to allow the proper space for the hydraulic bearing to function. A call to Silver Sport transmissions resulted in the correct hydraulic line. These photos show the speedometer outputs on the side of the transmission. One was used for the electronic speedometer, and the other one was used for the cruise control output. I had my old driveline modified by Northern Colorado Driveline to fit the new transmission. I also had them replace the yoke to allow the installation of stronger U-joints. I made a seal to be placed between the top of the transmission and the cab floor to help seal out debris from getting into the shifter boot. To do this, I glued 2 grout sponges together and trimmed as necessary. This photo shows the transmission tunnel cover being test fitted to see if the opening I made in the cover was of the proper size and location. The lower clutch cover required a bit of trimming to fit properly also. After adding fluid to the transmission and bleeding the hydraulic system, the clutch transmission assembly worked as desired.